How's it going, everyone? It's Steve here from Daydreamer Gaming Sport, and this is game week 18 of Premier League preview and predictions. Try my best to keep up with these videos, but the fixtures are coming thick and fast around this festive period. Another great weekend of football ahead of us. Let's get into it. So the first game of the weekend is Leicester City versus Crystal Palace. So Leicester are on a purple patch at the minute. They have won 4 of their last 4, picking up some much needed points, getting us into that top half of the table. Currently sitting 8th, which is fantastic. 4-1 against Southampton in the midweek games. Shinji Okazaki absolutely on fire at the minute. 6 goals. He's only 1 behind Vardy. And Vardy's having a great season as well. So City are on fire. Crystal Palace, the opponents, picked up a much needed win. They're now unbeaten in 5 games, I've just realised. 3 draws in that, but they're now off the bottom and they are 18th. So they're doing well. They did get out of that. I think they did get out of the bottom 3 for a little bit during midweek, but they have crept back in. I actually don't think this is going to be as easy a game as many Leicester fans think it will be. Leicester have had a day's less preparation than Crystal Palace. Palace are obviously on a very good run as well. They're unbeaten. Confidence is high. They have struggled to score away from home, and so that could go in Leicester's favour, absolutely. Well, we shall see. I am going to back my team, obviously, and I'm going to go for a home win and for Leicester to make it 5 wins out of 5, which would be amazing. Amazing. Next game down at the Emirates is Arsenal versus Newcastle. So 7th place Arsenal. Back-to-back draws for them. A draw against West Ham in the week. Not a great result. And say Leicester are only a few points off them now, so three points maybe. Yeah, so they're going to be desperate to pick up a win here against a Newcastle side that are in absolute free fall. Still not in the bottom 3, they are 16th, but no win in 5, and that might actually be longer than that. 3 defeats in a row for Newcastle, losing 1-0 to Everton in the week at home, and yeah, it's just not going very well for the Toon Army at the minute. Is Benitez the man? Is his heart in it? It's difficult when an owner just doesn't want to put any money into the club, and Benitez is trying to work with a championship side on a championship budget. So you're always going to struggle in the Premier League when you've got that sort of ambition about you. Arsenal win for me this one, absolutely no doubt about it. I can't see them going three games without a win. Arsenal, Newcastle are in a bad spot at the minute. I've said it before. Newcastle historically have never really travelled to London well, so Arsenal win for me. Brighton take on Burnley. So 3 defeats in a row for Brighton as well. So things are not looking great there, but they had a good start to the season, so they still find themselves 13th in the league. Burnley, another 1-0 win in the week against Stoke. And momentarily on Tuesday night, there was 3 games played on Tuesday night, and with the win that they got against Stoke, Burnley found themselves 4th in the table, which is an amazing achievement. Results went against them on the Wednesday night, so they're now dropped back down to 6th, but they're in absolutely great form. The 2 teams that they've lost to in this last 5 games, Arsenal 1-0 and Leicester 1-0. So even when they lose, they're not even being battered, they're not being thrashed. And I think they were probably unfortunate in the Arsenal game. It was a last-minute goal. And in the Leicester game, they never really got going. And Leicester were good, and we have been good at home, so you can't really hold it against them. Brighton need a win here desperately, I would say, just to stop the nerves from jangling, but it's going to be a very difficult game against a Burnley team that are in a great run of form. So I am going to go with a Burnley win in this game, and for Burnley to keep that run going and pushing for a European spot, which is absolutely mental to say. Down at Stamford Bridge, the mighty Chelsea take on the not-so-mighty Southampton. So a 3-1 win at Huddersfield for Chelsea in the week. Fairly straightforward, fairly standard for a team like Chelsea. And yeah, they're third. It's going to be difficult for them to break into that top two. I don't see them winning the title. They could push United, who knows? You just never know these next couple of weeks with the amount of football that's being played. Things can chop and change. They say they are third. Southampton, somehow, I mean, this is strange. I mean, they're on a bad run themselves, as I mentioned earlier, losing 4-1 in the week to Leicester. It sounded first half, especially 3-0 at half time. It sounded pretty desperate from Southampton, and there was boos ringing round at half time. Boos when the third goal went in, the third Leicester goal. So things aren't great at Southampton, but they just pick up the odd win every now and then, and they're 11th in the league. And I think it goes to show that, do you know what, there are some really poor teams in this league this season. So you just have to look at who's in the bottom three. Not great. Stoke, Newcastle, those sorts of teams. Southampton don't want to get dragged into that, obviously, and I don't think they will. They have got too much quality, but not playing brilliant at the minute, Southampton, and I don't expect them to go to Stamford Bridge and surprise anyone, so I am going to go with a Chelsea win on this one. One of those teams that I'm talking about down at the bottom that are struggling and are massively looking over their shoulders, and there's talk of possibly a change in management, Stoke City, who take on West Ham United. So Stoke losing 1-0 to Burnley in the week. Not many teams are going to Burnley this season and winning, to be fair, but one win in 4 defeats in those last 5 games for Stoke. And many Stoke fans, from what I've heard on various phone-ins and seen online, on Twitter and various places, Stoke fans want Hughes gone. Some fans do want him gone. Who they would replace him with, I don't know, but that shouldn't really put the owners of Stoke off if they feel that they need to make that change. Plenty of clubs have got rid of managers and brought in a manager that, you know, they've had to take a punt on, and it's worked out. So who knows what's going to happen there, but Stoke definitely looking over their shoulder. West Ham, on the other hand, a bit of a mini revival there. A draw in the week against Arsenal, which is a great result, and that win against Chelsea, obviously the game before. So they've picked up 4 points there where they probably thought they were going to get 0. So they're still 19th. They're still in the bottom 3. But I think David Moyes is going to get these players organised. He's going to get them playing better. They'll start picking some more points up at home. So, you know, I don't see West Ham going down. I think there are poorer teams than West Ham in the league, and I actually think Stoke are one of them. I'm going to sit on the fence, though, with this one. I do think it will be a draw. Interesting, though. Interesting. I think a West Ham win might... I don't know. Will Mark Hughes go or not? I'm not 100% sure. I think his job is at risk if they lose to West Ham. Watford take on Huddersfield. So Watford had that brilliant start to the season where they found themselves in the upper part of the league. Back-to-back defeats now for Watford, and they lost 2-1 to Watford. It sounded like an absolutely crazy game. I've not managed to see the highlights of that game. I believe Watford were leading quite early on. I think Janmaat scored in the 3rd minute. Tom Cleverley got sent off in the 83rd, and then in the 89th and 92nd minute, Palace scored 2 goals and won the game. And by all accounts, it should have been absolutely out of sight long before that. Watford massively in control, and I don't think Watford have got anything to worry about. They've still got a fantastic manager. They're still doing absolutely brilliant, and I expect them to turn this around pretty quickly. I do think they will beat Huddersfield at the weekend. Huddersfield, they lost to Chelsea. You know, Christ, you can't really expect them to beat Chelsea at home. Realistically, it has happened. You know, those sorts of results. But as I've said before, clubs like Huddersfield, they need to be winning at home. They need to stop the rot away, though, Huddersfield, because they haven't won away in a long, long time. So they need to stop the rot, but I don't think they are going to stop the rot against Watford. I think Watford will be far, far too good for them. Watford win. So arguably the biggest game of the weekend, and the game that is being simmed here on FIFA 18 in the background of me talking over the top, is Manchester City. Just as that goal goes in there, Manchester City take on Tottenham Hotspur at the Etihad. So they've done it again. They won again in the week, 4-0 away at Swansea for Man City. And that takes it 15 wins in a row. Not just undefeated or unbeaten, 15 wins in a row, which is a new Premier League record, and it is a new top flight record. So all those people out there that moan about, oh yes, I forgot, there wasn't any football before the Premier League, was there? Records didn't exist. Records did exist, and Man City have smashed that record as well. So they've beat Arsenal's record of 14 games in the Premier League, and whatever the top flight record, I'm guessing the top flight record was 14 wins as well. So Man City absolutely flying, and they've still got that 11-point gap at the top, and many people do see them as the champions elect. But they will have, I believe, a tough test against Tottenham. Spurs 2 wins on the bounce now, 2-0 against Brighton in the week. So Tottenham are still there or thereabouts, and they are 4th. You know, they're ahead of Arsenal and all of that lovely stuff. They've not really got Europe to worry about now, so you know they can sort of concentrate on the league a bit more in these next few games. And this is going to be, I do think this will be a tough test for Spurs. I imagine a Man City win here will just really propel them into that, wow, you know, I think we've got our champions here. But you can't write United off, I don't think, and stranger things have happened in football, so let's not crown Man City just yet, but it is looking brilliant for them. Oh, I am gonna go, wow, another great goal. I am gonna go with a Man City win. I just don't see them losing anytime soon. They will lose at some point this season. Absolutely no doubt about it, though. They will lose at some point this season. They have to, surely they do. But yeah, I am going to go with a Man City win. So on to the Sunday fixtures, and the first fixture that we have is West Bromwich Albion versus Manchester United. So that elusive win, it's not happened for Pardew yet. He's still not picked up his first win as the West Brom manager. But not a bad result in the week against Liverpool, frustrating Liverpool to a 0-0 draw. Again, I've not seen the highlights of this one, so I don't know it's a case of West Brom being lucky. West Brom, I did hear that West Brom did absolutely park the bus, but you know, these top clubs, they've got to come to expect that these days, and they've got to be good enough to be able to break down the likes of West Brom and any other club that wants to go away to these big clubs and park the bus. Manchester United, for instance, they've got to be good enough to be able to beat Liverpool. Have got to be good enough to beat the likes of West Brom at home, regardless of whether they put 10 or 11 men behind the ball. Manchester United 1-0 win against Bournemouth in the week. Romelu Lukaku finally getting a goal, breaking his duck, which is absolutely great. I don't think, you know, we can, you know, people are obviously entitled to their opinion, and he's had a lot of critics, has Lukaku, over the last few weeks for his lack of goals, and you know, that is deserved, I think, in some way, given the price tag. However, you could argue that he hasn't been getting the service because of Mourinho's negative tactics, etc., etc. You know, one goal doesn't change things. He's still not had the best of starts to the season. He's still got 9 goals, which it puts him up there among the top 4 or 5 strikers in terms of goals in the Premier League. So, you know, I'm not hating on Lukaku here. I actually really like him as a striker. I think he's brilliant, and the fact he's only 24 as well, it's quite frightening. We're a way off his peak. West Brom will make this difficult for United, but I think United will have enough quality, plenty of quality, to be able to beat West Brom. So I'm going to go with a Manchester United win. Bournemouth, who I've just mentioned, that defeat there in the week to Manchester United, only 1-0, so you know they can hold their heads high, I guess, in that aspect. They are 14th, so I mean, I don't know whether they're one of those that are looking over their shoulders, the same as Newcastle and Stoke, but I don't put them in that. I don't put Bournemouth in the same bracket. I do think they are good enough, and Eddie Howe is a good manager. No wins in their last 5 though, so they are going to be desperate for a win here, but it will be tricky against Liverpool. Liverpool two draws on the bounce now, a 0-0 and a 1-1. So things aren't really going the way that Liverpool would hope for, especially with this run of fixtures that they've got. You would have thought that, you know, out of the 3 games, Everton at home, West Brom at home, Bournemouth away, they would have been targeting probably 7, if not 9 points, and so far they've got 2. I think this is going to be a tricky game for Liverpool. I'm going to go for a draw, actually, in that one. And finally, on Monday night, we have Everton versus Swansea. So Allardyce, he's gone in there, he's turned them round. It's because I was thinking about Wayne Rooney, that's why I said that. So Rooney's on a bit of a purple patch. He's won goal of the month for November, obviously, for that goal from the halfway line. So he's in a cracking bit of form at the minute, and Allardyce has got Everton organised. You know, they've only conceded the 1 goal in the last 4 games. So yeah, he's done. He's done good. He's come in and done what he should do. Swansea, bottom of the league, struggling big time. And, you know, they did lose to Man City in the week, but that is to be expected. This is going to be a tough game for Swansea. And I keep saying it, and I've said it for about the last 4 or 5 videos. I do not know how much longer Paul Clement will have a job, especially when Tony Pulis is out there and available. So, who knows? You know, it could be a very not so merry Christmas for Paul Clement, because he could find himself down at the job centre. I will go with an Everton win in this one. Okay, those are my Premier League preview and predictions for game week 18. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, and hit that subscribe button for Daydreamer Gaming Sport. And hit the notification button so you know when one of us has uploaded some new content to the channel. Don't forget to tell your friends. We are trying to build our subscribers. Plenty of you people are watching our videos, but we're just falling a bit short on those subscribers. Don't forget to check out the main channel as well, Daydreamer Gaming. That would be great. And also check out our sponsors, gamerborn.co.uk and fatalgrips.com. 10% discount at the checkout with the code DDreamerGaming. I've been Steve, this has been Preview and Predictions, and I will see you next week for Game Week 19. Thank you very much for watching.